Okay, so as I said in the last video, which I am recording straight after doing that, you can tell the same song's playing, for God's sake. But as I said in that video, I'm going to be walking through how this system is hooked up, just in case anybody is curious and anybody does want to know if they want to set up a similar system for themselves, or are just plain curious to know how much of a noob I am at audio and what I've messed up, and you can hate me in the comments. But nevertheless, this is how I have this system hooked up, so let's get into it. Now starting over here we have, actually we'll start here. Here's the main PC here. I've got the HDMI out going into the receiver. The receiver goes up to the TV. Now that's how that hooks up. So if you're curious of that, now I have a 3.5mm out of, also for this whole video I'm going to leave the S7 Edge in autofocus. Oh, why am I turning it down there? It's over here. I'm going to leave the S7 Edge in autofocus mode, which basically means it's pulling focus by itself. So if I get close to something, yeah, it's got the amazingly fast autofocus, but I'm just going to leave it to do its thing, so hopefully it can keep up with me. Anyway, then I have out the back here, it's a 3.5mm cable to RCA, which is quite a long one actually. It comes all the way down, runs along the floor here and plugs in just here. Then from there, I've got my mixer here, which has my that channel, which is the RCA channel. My master, which is insanely loud, insanely quick. Actually, I need to fix this because this keeps breaking off. I don't know if we can get close enough here. Yeah, you can see it's kind of bent there. I don't know how I actually managed to do that, but it means whenever I turn the volume down really quickly, the fader falls off. But let's try and get a nice amount of volume. There we go. That's probably too loud. See, 1mm is enough to make it too loud or too quiet. Anyway, outputs of that is RCA, and it goes to an RCA, well, that cable is an RCA 2/4 inch, which goes into the main Behringer EQ just there. So from there, obviously the EQ does its things. It's got its limiters, it's got, obviously, let me disable this for a second. Well, I have the flash on my phone on, but you can, there you go, you can see it here. The light's there, so you can see all my EQ settings. I just have it on FBQ just because I can. But yeah, so that obviously does all its EQing. Then that outputs 2-channel full stereo into the crossover just here. Then the crossover does its thing, which is crossing over the certain channels and outputting. We have the sub out of that goes into a splitter, which goes into each channel of that EQ there. Then each channel of that EQ is EQ'd to the bass frequencies that I want these 18s playing. Then from there, that EQ outputs into both, well, one channel into each Certain Vega CW2800 down there. Then the crossover runs directly out the mid channels. One goes to one phonic amp, the other one goes to the other, and then the high outputs go into each each channel, one into each channel of the Certain Vega amp. It'd be a lot more easy if I could get back here, but we can see up there, the very top one, we see the 1/4 inch inputs, the XLR outputs there, which then go down into this massive mess of wires, but that goes into the stereo input of the crossover. Crossover does its thing, and then it works itself out. But anyway, Certain Vega amps has just 2 wires coming out. One goes to the top terminal there. There should be a bit of writing on it that'll say right horn, and then on this one over here there'll be another one which will say left horn. At least I think it should. Yes, L horn, you can see it there. Then obviously here that would be, I think that's, yes, LWM, and then it should be LBM, yes. So what that stands for was left horn, left middle woofer, left bottom woofer. Don't know why it's the middle woofer, because it's actually the top woofer, because there is no 3. Anyway, but that's how that's hooked up. Obviously the same on that side. So I think it's like channel one of the, I don't even know. It's one. That's like the left channel, that's the right channel. This whole amp's a left channel and that whole amp's a right channel, or something like that. That's how that works. These are bridged. No, they're not. No, they're not. These are running in parallel, running 1 woofer per channel at 8 ohms. But that's how it's hooked up. I just confused myself. There's actually a lot more wires than when I thought there were. So one channel of that goes to one horn. The other whoa, English. The other channel of that goes to the other horn. Then each channel on that goes to one pair. So channel 1 would be like that woofer, channel 2 would be like that woofer. Then that amp's the same. And then these are bridged, 1 per Joule 18. But that's pretty much how it's hooked up. If I want to watch a movie, I can swap this over to Blu-ray player, which is the Blu-ray player up there. Or if I want to just play the music off my PC through the surround sound system, say it's late at night, I can also just swap it in the computer settings so it's outputting through HDMI, which means I control the volume through the mixer. And believe me, the Beamers alone sound absolutely great. No need for a sub with them. They perform great mixed with the mids, mixed with the Acoustic 8.6 center and the delis at the back. It's a pretty good combination, and there's not really much more to say about it now. Apologizing for the bad lighting. It is nighttime, so there's me in a bright yellow singlet. Whoa, washing out the camera there. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything. It's basically a little quick overview of how the system hooks up, how the system is hooked up. Once I have this system 100% complete, there'll be a series where I'll upload a video each week, which will have behind the scenes of like everything I've done. I think I've got like 3 or 4 videos that are like half an hour long already of just behind the scenes of working on this system. Look how quick the autofocus on this phone is. Look, not even touching the focus. I love the S7. Anyway, that's how this system's hooked up. Feel free to leave comments asking questions. Just make sure they're clear of what you're trying to say, because sometimes I can misunderstand what you're actually trying to say, and it makes it quite difficult to answer the question if I don't understand. They're not hooked up before anyone asks. They're hooked up for the home theater. Along with that and that, I can swap the subs over to the home theater system by unplugging the 3.5mm that hooks up to the PA and plugging it into the subwoofer outs here, the 3.5, and just not turning on the mids and highs. So that's how that's hooked up. Use the subs for the home theater and the PA, so they share the 18s. But that's pretty much all I need to say. What I'll do for that is I'll just leave the EQs on and the crossover, turn those 3 amps off and those 3 amps on, slide that all the way up, and I've got beautiful audio for the home theater. That is the highest quality my hand's probably ever been. Thank you, S7 Edge. I'm just kidding. I think the Nexus probably does. I don't know, it's probably just getting a little washed out. Probably turn the colors, the brightness down a bit actually. No, I can't. Oh yes. Beautiful. Wow, my hand looks shit. Anyway, that's how it's hooked up. Any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I will be sure to get back if I can understand your question. Anyway, see you in the next video, which God knows what that'll be. I'm running out of video ideas, so if you've got some of them, leave them in the comments as well, and yeah, that would be helpful.